Hi there and welcome to Capital View. The monsoon session of Parliament is paralysed. What is the opposition's game plan? Joining us on that question, former Union Minister in the UPA government and now senior Supreme Court lawyer, Kapil Sibal. Thank you so much for joining us. You were a senior minister in the UPA government and your government repeatedly voiced its concerns when the opposition at that time was blocking Parliament and obstructing Parliament. Now, when you're doing the same thing, are you able to see the impact your actions are having on governance, on parliamentary functioning?
I think what we're trying to project before the people of this country is the following, that there are very serious issues that need to be discussed. And there are documents that have come to light in which unless this government takes action, and we see that action on the ground, there is no point discussing other business. That's the position that we've taken. And in a sense, a minister of this government, when he was in opposition, conceived of a unique principle in parliamentary democracy, namely obstruction is part of parliamentary strategy, is what he said. And now he is sort of tasting the savoring the taste of those words himself.
This tit for tat politics, they obstructed us, so we will obstruct them. Isn't this a political interest over national interest?
No, it's not tit for tat politics at all. We want the House to run, and we've said so. And we said that if the previous government, based on the voices that the opposition raised, particular ministers having alleged to do of certain acts, if that's the standard that you went by, that's the standard that Parliament must go by. This government also go by. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not tit for tat. You've set a standard of probity. We want you to follow that standard.
You've made resignation the precondition for discussion. First you resign, then we'll have a discussion.
That's the standard they set. That's not tit for tat. I think that's a good standard. I think, look at it this way.
But the people are being prevented from hearing Ms. Sushma Swaraj, who has offered to make a statement.
Who is prevented?
Because you're saying she has to first resign,
and only then she can speak. Did they hear us at that point in time? See, look, I think it's a good standard in parliamentary democracy to say that if there is suspicion, acts of certain ministers, and that suspicion is in the public domain, and I'm not talking about any individuals here, and that's the standard that Parliament sets for the running of Parliament, then that's the standard we must go by. That's not tit for tat. That's the standard that was set by the opposition, accepted by the government.
But why not hear her? Why not hear Sushma Swaraj?
No, that's not the point. You should have heard Ashwini Kumar, you should have heard Shashi Tharoor, you should have heard Pawan Bansal. That's the standard that Parliament set at that point in time. If that's the yardstick, then we must follow that yardstick. There's nothing wrong. That's not tit for tat. This should happen in all governments.
Do you regret that your ministers resigned in the way they did? When there was no FIR,
of regret at all.
When there was no charge sheet, do you regret that they resigned too quickly?
Why should we regret? That's a standard we accepted. I think we were sensitive to the issue. They are insensitive to the issue. You see, when they were in opposition, they were obdurate, right? They would level charges without cause, right? They would disrupt Parliament. Several sessions of Parliament were disrupted. One second. We could not do very important business and we wanted to do it. But that's the standard that they set. And if that's the standard that was accepted by us, they must accept the standards that they set.
But isn't this a very dangerous precedent? That unless you resign, there can be no functioning of Parliament.
No. Why?
So we can't listen because the public then can't hear the minister who's
That's the yardstick that was set for us in the past, and that's the yardstick we're following.
So you're taking revenge?
Not at all. I think that's a good yardstick. There's no harm. There's no harm in that yardstick. They should be sensitive enough to realize that they are not allowing the nation to move forward by not doing what they asked us to do, and we accepted it.
No, but on a point of political philosophy, on a point of parliamentary functioning, don't you think the people of India deserve to hear the minister's point of view?
Of course.
Why she did what she did?
Of course, people deserve to hear everybody's point of view. Certainly. Shashi Tharoor's point of view would also deserve to be heard at that point in time. So Pawan Bansal's. So also Ashwini Kumar's. But that's the standard we set. And it's the responsibility of this government. Look, we want Parliament to function. We've not said no. We want Parliament to function.
So why not call for an investigation? Insist on accountability, call
This
for
should
a
have
proper
happened.
investigation.
Look,
what is the resignation of Shivraj Singh Chauhan going to achieve when there is no FIR against him in the first place?
It's not a question of FIR. See what is happening. Over 40 deaths in Madhya Pradesh. And now that the CBI has taken over, much more hopefully will come out. But if that's the case, I don't think in the history of India we have had such a scam as what we saw in what we are seeing in Madhya Pradesh. And there are more skeletons in the cupboard that are
so why not press for an investigation?
Yeah, you are right. I think if the standard was that in all such cases there should be, and that should be the standard of the media as well, right? If the standard of the media is, we will not ask for anybody's resignation. Who asks for resignation? Ultimately, the media brings up the story and says this person must resign, right? So if all of us, media, judiciary, parliamentary institutions, we all agree that in no case will there be a resignation, and in no case will charges be hurled at people till there is a proper investigation, that's the norm we can accept. Let's accept a norm for the nation to move forward. If you accept that norm, it's fine. But if you have set a yardstick when you were in opposition, then you must follow that yardstick. And merely because you are insensitive, and merely because you are obstinate and obdurate, and merely because you are arrogant, that itself will not gel. The public is no longer going to buy that.
So it's not as if you were a weak government, you got overwhelmed by the surround sound.
No. We were a sensitive government. We realized that if this is an issue, we'd rather have the man resign and have an investigation. The result is there has been no wrongdoing done by the three of them. Right. And as far as Mr. Raja is concerned, he is being prosecuted.
But the fact is you're setting up a Pandora's box, because you're calling for the resignation of Sushma Swaraj and the other two. And they are now calling for the resignation of the Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh, Veerbhadra Singh, on tax evasion, and on the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, Harish Rawat. So now where is this going to end?
Pandora's box.
Where is this going to end?
We are only going to say that if this is what your yardstick was, and we were sensitive to that yardstick, then you must accept that.
Then will your chief ministers resign?
Where's the question of our chief ministers?
Because they're saying unless those chief ministers resign, we won't resign.
See, this is another new. One second, this is another new. I have never seen in the history of this country in Parliament for the government representatives to be sitting near Mahatma Gandhi's statue in Parliament and raising placards in the well of the House. I have never seen this. So BJP has this great ability to set new standards to destroy parliamentary democracy. It is doing it, and it will continue to do it because it doesn't believe in it.
Do you feel that the Prime Minister is not reaching out to the opposition enough? Do you feel the Prime Minister is not taking Parliament seriously?
Well, he never did. If you look at the experience in Gujarat, the Assembly hardly ever met in Gujarat. Right? So this is his attitude, not just towards Parliament. Look at his attitude towards institutions. What happened to the Lokpal? What happened to the, to the Information Commission? What happened to these educational institutions which are being filled up by people of a particular bent of mind and ideology? He doesn't care about. It's a one-man show.
But isn't this politics of revenge?
Not at all. Not
because
at all.
It shows a complete breakdown between you and the opposition.
Why? There's no breakdown. All they should do is accept our demands, and move forward, pass the important legislation. One person can't be this important to the nation that the nation will stop because that one person is most important to the nation. Do you think that's the standard to set? Let me ask you that question. Is one person or one person's being in a particular position more important than the future of the nation?
But why not raise these issues on the floor of the House? Why not raise this debate on the floor of the House?
I wish that was let me give you another example. When we used to allow the opposition to raise these issues on the floor of the House and the government wished to reply, the then opposition never allowed the government to reply.
No, but will the Congress now block every session of Parliament unless Sushma Swaraj resigns?
Let's move through this session first, and then we'll take a call on what should happen.
Let's come to Prime Minister Modi. One gets the feeling that there's a personal level of animosity that the Congress has with Modi, that there's a level of hatred, the level of kind of a dislike for Modi. But he's, after all, the Prime Minister.
Of course he's the Prime Minister, and we respect the office, may not be the man.
You don't
respect the man? We respect the office. I don't think, I think what we have in this government in the last more than 1 year is a one-man soap opera, right? And you make announcements, there's nothing on the ground. Swachh Bharat, you know, after Swachh Bharat and all this tamasha, where are we today?
But Modi says that the Congress simply can't digest the fact that
he's
become the Prime Minister.
Forget Modi. We're talking about what he's done. What has happened to Swachh Bharat? What has happened to digital India? They're talking about digital India. The fiber optic line has been laid only to the extent of 21%. Even the basic line has not been laid. But he will transform this country. So he launches digital India, right? You take any of the schemes, right? These are all schemes.
You say that these are your schemes, but then shouldn't you feel proud that your schemes are being given new dynamism?
Not at all. It is, we are proud of the fact that what we did. What I'm saying is that this is a soap opera going on. We don't hate anybody.
Why is it a soap opera?
Because it's only a sound and light show, a son et lumière. That he makes a speech, then there's a lot of, and look at black money. What's happened? What about the 10 to 15 lakhs that he promised? Look at his policy to Pakistan. What he said when he was in opposition, right? And look what he's doing Pakistan today.
But don't you feel that the connect with the NRIs, the connect with the non-resident Indians,
very happy.
the kind of profile that he's building for India is a good one. The Congress has traditionally ignored the diaspora. Let's face it, the Congress has ignored the diaspora. Here is a Prime Minister who's reaching out to the diaspora and leveraging that power. Surely that's something you should applaud.
We are interested in India moving forward and India growing more powerful as a nation, right? I don't care what happens at Madison Square Garden. I'm more interested.
You don't care?
No, I don't care what happens in the speeches that are given in Madison Square Garden. I more care.
You don't care about the diaspora?
I care, no, very much so I care about the diaspora. But I don't care about speeches because speeches don't bring reality to what's on the ground. Speeches are mere words. We want action on the ground.
How many Congress Prime Ministers reached out to the non-resident Indians in the way that Modi is doing?
That's not the point. I'm very happy that Modi is doing that. I want India to be strong. I want Make in India to happen. I don't want words. Look at what is happening to the economy. This economy is in absolute shambles. There's no credit flowing. You go to the retail market. Industry is very unhappy. The NPAs have risen to 11% of all banking credit. I mean, and the governor of the Reserve Bank has expressed great concern. Look at the inflation. Today, onions is 35 rupees a kilo. He was talking about inflation. Look at the prices of vegetables. Look at the prices of milk. And he was the one who said that when Congress comes, there is always inflation. Now he's silent. The Prime Minister is silent.
But isn't this precisely what you should nail the government on in Parliament?
Don't worry.
And be a constructive opposition instead of simply sitting in Parliament and not letting the House run?
We are a constructive opposition. We want the House to run. But we want them to stick to the yardsticks that they set.
The three ministers are being put above the nation, and therefore you are not going to let this House to run.
No, therefore, that's why the impasse. We want it to run. We want the nation to move forward. We want the GST bill to pass. But they are putting the future of their individuals above the future of the nation.
And that's why you will not let the House run, at least for this session.
I'm not a member of Parliament today. It's not for me to decide.
Right. Let's take a short break at this point. Come back with lots more with Kapil Sibal on the other side. Welcome back to Capital View. The monsoon session is paralysed. We're talking to senior Supreme Court lawyer and former UPA Minister Kapil Sibal on what the game plan of the opposition is. We were talking in the earlier section about the fact that the government must adhere to its own yardsticks and therefore these ministers should resign. But I just want to come back to the Modi question, which we were also talking about. Do you feel that you underestimated Modi? You know, when the campaign was happening in 2014, Congress called him Bhasmasur, called him all kinds of names, that he's just a state chief minister. Do you feel that at least in terms of the way he is able to communicate? Because one of the problems with the UPA was that it was not able to communicate. He's communicating all the time. He's on social media all the time. He's talking all the time to young people. Do you feel that there you've underestimated? Actually,
I'll tell you why. The Congress lost. That's my own analysis. You may not agree with it. One, we had been in power for 10 years. That's a long time for any political party to be in power. Two, And the decline started from October 2011 after the 176 crores of the 2G. And there was a decline thereafter. 3, it's not that BJP won, it's Congress which lost.
Okay, so you're not crediting Mr. Modi at all with his victory?
Mr. Modi actually was building on the discontent with the Congress. And he built it very well. He is extremely articulate. He is a wonderful speaker when it comes to, you know, a one-way traffic speech.
You won't concede that he's a skillful politician?
I think the skills of a politician will be judged in 2019.
Right.
I think it's too early to make a judgment on him.
Right.
Personally, I think that if on the ground you ask people, people are getting extremely disenchanted with this government.
Right.
Across the board.
So it was simply a vote against the Congress?
It is a vote against the Congress, and he
lost.
built on it beautifully because he is very articulate when it comes to standing on a podium and making a speech.
He is very articulate when it comes to...
There's no doubt about standing. We cannot doubt that. But the fact is, he's not able to have a conversation with the media. If you notice, he has not held a press conference, right? He's afraid of questions. And his silence is more significant than his great speaches before.
Yeah, but his popularity ratings, his personal popularity ratings, still continue rather high.
Let's be, you know, we are just in one year through this government.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that, and he's silent on every important issue today. He doesn't answer any questions. But he will make a speech. He'll go to Bihar.
Right.
He will not say anything when he's sitting with Nitish Kumar.
Right.
But he will make a speech, you know.
Well, that's politics.
And that's good politics, I don't know.
Whether it's good politics or bad politics, we don't know, but it's politics.
14 months, he doesn't think about Bihar. And when the elections are coming, he'll say he's going to give Bihar a 50,000 package and more. See, I don't know whether it's good politics or bad politics, but it's certainly great opportunistic politics.
Right.
Right? And he's demonstrated that beautifully.
One of the themes of the Congress is that everything that he's doing is our initiative. GST is our initiative, Swachh Bharat is our initiative, Jan Dhan Yojana is financial inclusion. But shouldn't you feel happy that if he's taking your initiatives like Jan Dhan Yojana and Swachh Bharat and giving them a new dynamism and implementing
What's
them,
the new dynamism?
Congress should be happy,
we should be happy
that this is happening.
We would
instead of saying that this is our scheme, everything is our idea, he's just simply implementing them.
No. We would be happy if he was doing something on the ground. On GST, what has he done? Actually, that's why we have opposed it.
But GST is your bill.
But what has he done? He's completely destroyed the very basis of the GST.
With that 1% levy.
With the 1% levy, with exceptions to the GST, right? He's just destroyed it. And we want a cap at 18%, right? Which they are not accepting. So why should we feel elated about something that he has destroyed?
So you're not going to let this GST bill go through either?
I'm not saying that. Even industry, if you ask industry, they are very, very upset as to what he's done, what this government has done. So it's not a question of not letting it go through. The question is, we want a genuine GST.
No, what do you want?
To take the economy. What I said, 1% to go, no exceptions to be there. That's the true GST.
Right.
We want that to happen.
And similarly on land bill, you're not going to let this land bill go through.
Land bill is passed by them with consensus.
But the Congress chief ministers have gone to the government and said that we cannot acquire land under this 2013 bill. See, we need a different bill.
One second.
So your own chief ministers are saying this bill is not good working for us.
One second. This was a legislation by consensus, right? Remember, I think now with the census, I want to make a point, with the census that's come up, you must realize that more than 700 million people in this country earn less than 5,000 rupees a month. These are the facts. This is a country which is bedeviled with hunger. It's not about the economy anymore.
I just want to come down to your chief minister, the Congress chief minister.
I'm answering that question.
Right.
I'm answering that question. So if you take away the land of a person who lives on only 5,000 rupees a month, where is he going to go? And I think whether it's our chief ministers or any other, we must understand that land acquisition without the social assessment impact and other issues involved, you can't, the power of eminent domain cannot be applied in this fashion.
No, that's the political argument, that's the ideological argument. But what about your own chief ministers?
Sensible argument. It's not a political argument, it's a sensible argument.
But your own chief ministers have said that they can't acquire land under your act.
I don't know which chief ministers has said it, and I think if our chief minister has said it, they should be told that, look, the Congress party is committed ideologically to this bill.
Okay, and change it in your state legislature.
Yes,
after all,
you
it's
do
a
what you
concurrent
want,
subject.
but we are committed ideologically.
Will this kind of agitational politics that you're playing at this moment in the parliament, do you feel this will revitalize the Congress party, that this is a way for your party to regather, to regroup? Is that why you're doing these agitational politics?
No, I don't. It's not. We're trying to do the right thing. And I think what will revitalize the Congress party will be hard work on the ground. And I think it'll take some time for us to come back. It's not an easy task. I think we all know it. We've all to work very hard. And now that there is a disquiet amongst the people of India, with this government, I think we have an opportunity.
Right.
But we'll not be able to seize that opportunity.
What is the new idea
Nothing
do you
to
think that Rahul Gandhi has come up with to energize the Congress?
Well,
doesn't there have to be a new idea?
No, there have to be several new ideas.
So what's
and
what are
I'm
those
sure
new
that the
ideas?
leadership. I'm sure that the leadership will throw up new ideas and move forward. And I think there is enough time
between now. Is there a problem within the
2000.
party? Are there divisions on what is the way to go forward?
I know this for a fact, that the party is feeling the time has come for us to use this opportunity to build that confidence in the people, which the people are now realizing. People say that at the time when the Congress were in power, achhe din to tab the.
Right. What, according to you, is needed to revive the Congress, and is Rahul Gandhi the person who is going to do it?
You know, there is no recipe for a good dish, right? As a cook, you would know that, right? So there is no.
I'm a very bad cook.
You may be a bad cook, but there is no recipe.
Right.
For a good, you can make the same thing in 50 different ways, but you don't know which is the best way.
No, but according to you,
I think there is no recipe for success, right? It is there are several circumstances that come together, right? That make a person successful, and there are several attributes to that success. And I think we need to actually pinpoint what the attributes of success might be.
What if I were to ask you 3 key attributes that are needed to revive the Congress?
I think we need to connect with the less privileged in this country.
Okay, that's one.
I think it's most important to understand their problems. We need to have a workforce on the ground, right? We need to encourage leadership in the states. I think that's very important. We need to give our support to one person in each state.
Did your defeat of 2014 really knock you for a 6? I mean, have you really not recovered from, has the Congress really not recovered from what is really this debacle?
No.
The catastrophe. Jairam Ramesh has said you're looking at the abyss of irrelevance.
Right, look, I mean, I do not want to comment on what others said. I never talk that language.
Okay.
Right, I am by nature an optimist. Right.
How did you react personally when the defeat happened?
I was devastated.
You were devastated.
I was devastated, and rightly so. But I am optimistic today. Why? Because I know that our government, no matter what its faults, had the good of the people at their heart. We never did vendetta politics. We never targeted people. We had an inclusive mindset.
Right.
Right. And we were not a one man.
So do you feel hard done by?
We were not a one man soap opera.
Kapil Sibal, thank you so much for joining me on Capital View.
Thank you.
That's it with Kapil Sibal on this episode of Capital View. Join us again next week for lots more.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/etnow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at etnowlive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/etnow.